Am I my brother's keeper? Yes, I am. Am I my brother's keeper? Yes, I am. Am I my brother's keeper? Yes, I am.
Nino Brown Boxing, I'm back in the building. Shout out to the LDBC. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. So I was thinking about one of my favorite fighters, Jermall Charlo. And we all know the misfortunes of Jermall Charlo when it comes to guys ducking and dodging him in the middleweight division. They, the guys that are quick to say who has he fought, but they're not willing to get in the ring with him. The guys that are quick to say, who has he fought? What name has he fought? And they are the names that he can fight. The guys that know for a fact, out of Triple G, Danny Jacobs, Gennady Golovkin, if he fights anyone else in that middleweight division, they're going to say, who has he fought? You know what? Jermall Charlo, at this point, obviously, quality opponents are not at your disposal at the moment. They're not. And it's very unfortunate. And I feel like we all know Jermall Charlo. He's a former champion at 154. He's bust his ass. He's worked his way through the rankings. He defended titles. He's knocked out undefeated guys before. He's a proven fighter. But he's at a point where quality is not an option. Well, it is an option, but it's an option that's not within his control. It's an option where it's, a one-sided decision when it comes to the other guy when they're choosing not to fight him. No justification why that falls on, that's, any fault of Jermall Charlo. It's just they're flat out avoiding the guy. So I say, when you're in this situation, Jermall, what should you do? If you can't get quality, it's time to get some quantity. Now, by quantity, I mean PBC has a lot of dates. And, you have guys like Triple G that have done it before when they fought guys and they've been very active fighters. And they're knocking out guys left and right. Highlight reel knockouts. And when you're that active, you stay relevant. You're always a topic of discussion. You're constantly getting knockout after knockout after knockout, to the point where even though they can say, well, who has he fought? It can get to the point where they can no longer say, who has he fought? It'll get to a point where they say he's fought everyone except for the top guys. So the whole point of saying who has he fought, all of these guys that you would consider quote unquote nobodies, lower level fighters, he's already beaten those guys. So the only people remaining are the people that's actually fixing their lips to say who has he fought. Now, when I say the quantity part, I mean Jermall Charlo, the WBC ordered him to fight Triple G. It looks like Triple G has no interest in taking that fight. Well, Jermall, you have the Willie Monroes, the Martin Murrays, the Jack Duclays of the middleweight division. I say it's time to start lining those guys up and stopping them one by one. I mean, Jermall, it's time to go on a grind mode. We all understand the politics in boxing to the point where Canelo Alvarez will take a voluntary at 168 pounds to avoid you. We understand it, and it's unfair and it's bullshit. But being active, staying in the fans' memory, being extremely relevant, staying on our minds, putting yourself out there in the media, trying to figure out a way, like, how can Jermall Charlo, like, you have a twin. How can Jermall Charlo and Jermall Charlo get on the Breakfast Club, get on ESPN, put their name out on the mainstream and put a lot of these guys on blast? talk to a lot of the people, primarily, guys in the LDBC. A lot. Why these fighters are training people in the LDBC? We're paying close attention. We have the storylines. We know what has happened over the years and how things have played out. And when it's time to go on those shows, paint a very vivid picture of what's actually going on. Because I have yet to see a fighter go on there and speak absolute facts from point A to point Z in very, in great detail. It's you have to paint a picture for the casual fans so they can understand fully what's going on. To the point that they have so much detail after the conversation when it comes to that topic, they're no longer a casual fan. They're very informed and they understand what's going on. And, it's no more tricks can be made. But I just feel like the answer right now, if they're not going to fight you, is to increase the quantity of fights that you have. Now, it may suck, and I say over the next 2 years, I'm pushing for at least 8 fights. I say 8 fights over the next 2 years. Some people say, oh, well, that's not doable. Hey, man, Showtime has a lot of dates. They have Fox has a lot of dates. And I feel like the best thing to do is to stay as active as possible, get knockout after knockout, and just create a highlight reel that's pretty much uncomparable. Like I said, people, they can talk about who have you fought all day long. But if you beat everyone except for the top guys, what can they say? Well, you haven't beat any of the top guys. Well, I'm calling all of those guys' names while I'm knocking all of these other guys out. And the only thing I'm waiting for, just one of these guys to say, okay, I'll fight Jermall. But yeah, man, honestly, I think that the answer is just to be as active as possible. It's Nino Brown Boxing, guys, and I'm out.